Hi, I'm Rob, and this is the BougeRV portable diesel heater that they sent me to review and share with you. And it's a perfect day to review a diesel heater on this cold, snowy day in southern New England. Now, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. This video is not intended to take the place of the owner's manual or other documentation that BougeRV supplies with this heater. So if you've bought one or are thinking of buying one, make sure you follow all the instructions in the manual before using yours. Now that that's out of the way, let's take a closer look at this. Here's a look at everything that comes in the box. First, of course, we have the diesel heater itself. Then we have an exhaust port deflector, some hardware. We've got a DC power cord, remote control. This, of course, is the exhaust pipe, and this is the heat output tube. We get another DC power cord. The muffler is here, and the AC adapter is here. And of course, here's all the documentation that comes with the unit. And again, I suggest you read through this before using yours. Before we get everything assembled and fire up the heater, let me give you a quick walk around of it so you can see some of its features. This, of course, is the control panel. And this port is the fresh air intake port. And then down here is the XT60 DC power connector. And you can see this can accept between 12 and 24 volts. On the right side of the unit, if we take off this temporary plug, this is the threaded exhaust port. We'll be able to install the exhaust pipe here without using any kind of tools later. And while we're over here, you can see that a majority of the metal on the heater is corrosion-resistant stainless steel. And on the back of the unit is where we find the hot air output. And we have a window to see the fuel level. And you can see that this will accept up to 5 liters. Up on top of the heater, we have the fuel filler. This is where we'll add the diesel later on. And then we have these stainless steel handles, which we can use to carry the heater around and fold them down when not in use so they're out of the way. To set up the heater, the first thing I want to do is install the exhaust pipe. Now this comes pre-bent so it fits in the box, but you can unbend it and route this however you need to. So in fact, I'm going to unbend mine so that it's pretty much straight. Now I'll just remove this cap. I'll grab the threaded end of the exhaust pipe and just thread it into the outlet. I'll snug it up by hand and we should be good to go. The next thing I want to do is install the muffler on the exhaust pipe. So I'm going to slip this hose clamp that comes with the muffler over the exhaust pipe first. Now I should be able to slip the muffler inside the exhaust pipe. Now sometimes the ends of these exhaust tubes get a little bit mushed down during shipping, so you may need some pliers to kind of bend it back into shape. Now the sheet metal is thin, so you don't need a lot of force here, just enough to kind of bend the metal back so the muffler can slip in. Once you do get the muffler slipped in, just slide the hose clamp over the end of the pipe and tighten it up with a Phillips screwdriver. And again, the metal here is fairly thin, so you don't need to tighten this a lot, just enough to snug it up so the muffler doesn't come off. There is an additional clamp supplied in the hardware kit. You can use this to kind of anchor the exhaust pipe or even the muffler if you need to in some way. The next thing we need to do is connect up power to the heater. Now, as I mentioned before, this can run on either 12 or 24 volts DC directly. So BougeRV has included 3 power cables to give us different options. The first option is the XT60 to ring terminals. That way we can connect the heater directly to something like this LifePo battery, where we can go right to the ring terminals on the battery. Now for safety, you'll want to make sure that you include a fuse in your power cord if you're connecting directly to a battery. There isn't one included with this power cord from BougeRV. The next option is a cigarette lighter 12 volt connection. Now we can use this on something like this power station that has the cigarette lighter outlet on it. However, keep in mind that the heater needs more than the standard 10 amps that these connections usually provide. So make sure your power station or whatever power source you're using can provide more than 10 amps. Otherwise, the heater might not work right. The third option is a standard AC conversion brick. This, of course, will convert standard 120 volt AC into the 12 volt DC that the heater needs to run. And of course, you can run this off of your standard house power if you've got it, or you can use this on a power station like this one that has a built-in inverter. Whichever power option you decide to use, they all connect up to the heater the same way through the XT60 connector. The next thing I want to do is install the heater outlet pipe. I'm going to grab one of the supplied hose clamps and slip it over the pipe, and then just slip this over the exhaust port on the heater. I'll get the hose clamp positioned in a good spot so it's clamping the hose onto the port. and then just use a Phillips screwdriver to tighten this up. Now, just like on the exhaust, we don't need to go super tight on this, just snug so that the tube doesn't come off. And then I'll grab the other hose clamp that's supplied with the kit and slide it over the free end of the tube. And then I'll bring in the diverter, put that in place. And again, we don't need to go too tight on this, just snug enough to keep it from coming off. And of course, before we can fire the heater up, we need to add some diesel. Now, I'm not gonna fill mine all the way to the top, but I'll put enough fuel in here so we can run it and test it out. One of the complaints I've had with other diesel heaters I've owned is that the control screen is almost impossible to read in kind of normal daylight. Now, it's an overcast day today, but it's pretty bright. You can see my glasses are at max tint. And I'm happy to report that the screen on the BougeRV diesel heater is perfectly readable out here. So I'm happy with that. Now, despite the fact that I can see the screen just fine out here in the daylight, I'm still having trouble showing it in the camera. So you might not be able to see it quite as well as I can. But let's fire up the heater and see what happens. To do that, I'm just going to short press the button on the right. After a couple of seconds, the screen boots up and all the display items are here. Over on the right, you can see it's reading the voltage, which is currently 13.1. And then over on the left is the current heat setting. This is currently set to 4,000 watts. If I want to change the heat setting, I can turn the right control and I can go as high as 5,000 and I can go as low as 1,400. Along the top edge of the screen, there's some icons to let us know what the heater is currently doing. Right now, the air blower is currently active and the ignition electrode is currently active. But as the heater kind of ramps up and starts to heat, these icons will change as the different modes get enabled. After a minute or two, the heater starts to ignite. We can see from the icon the fuel pump is running and we can hear it clicking. The air blower is on, and of course the ignition and the heater core are all on. I've temporarily moved into the garage where I've got the heater set up temporarily, exhausted out through the window, so that I can show you the screen a little better without all the glare from the camera. To access the heater's timer function, while it's off, long press the left button. You can see down here at the bottom of the screen, we get time information. Now to set the time, I can triple click on the button, and now you can see everything is kind of blinking. To set the actual time, you have to rotate the control so it rotates through all of these 24 numbers, and then the word time is blinking. So then I push in on the button. Now you can see I can set the local time to whatever it happens to be. First the hours, and then the minutes. And then once I'm done setting the time, I just have to leave it alone for a few seconds, and then the time is set. Now if I want to actually set a time for the heater to turn on at, I triple click the button again, and I rotate through and pick whichever one of these numbers correlates to the hour I want it to turn on. So for example, if I want this to turn on at 8 o'clock, I rotate to 8, push in on the button, and now 8 is active. Now you can see 7 was previously active. If I rotate back so that's blinking and click it again, that removes 7 from the list. And again, once I'm happy with whatever that setting is, I can just wait a few seconds without touching the control and it will automatically set itself. There's a few more timing modes that I'm not going to cover in this video so it doesn't get too long. I'll let you look those up in the owner's manual. Now we can definitely hear this thing ramping up as it starts to come up the temperature, but it's definitely quieter than some of the other heaters I've used in the past. The heater takes about 5 minutes or so to kind of fully come up to speed and produce full heat output. And that's where the remote control comes in handy. If you've got this set up in, say, like an outside workshop, or you want to heat up your tent ahead of time, you can use the remote control to start the heater from inside, say, a nice warm house or a nice warm car, and let it come up to temperature before you go out into wherever it is the heater is heating. You can also remotely control the heater from the BougeRV app that should be available for both Android and Apple. Now it does look like you have to create an account in order to use the app and connect to your heater. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about using the app. Now I'm not going to go through and show you all of that right now just to keep this video at a reasonable length. But if for some reason you need help getting it set up, you should be able to go to the BougeRV website and get some help there. When you're ready to shut the heater down, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that when you power it off, you have to wait for the heater to kind of spool down and fully turn itself off. Otherwise, the heater could be damaged. So it's never a good idea to just yank the power cord. You should always use the off function either from the remote or directly from the front panel to shut the heater off. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the BougeRV heater. This one is definitely a cut above some of the other ones I've tried. So if you're thinking about getting one for your overlanding rig, or maybe some winter tent camping, ice fishing, or maybe you just want a backup heat source for your home, or something for the garage or your shop, this may be one you want to consider. In fact, I'm planning to use mine out in my garage for those winter car repairs. Let me know down in the comments what you plan to use yours for. And while you're down there, if you're thinking about buying one of these units, I'll leave affiliate links and any discount codes I can pass along there as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.